morning.
Morning, everyone. Welcome to the Founders and Funders Forum. How are you all feeling? Bit of energy? How are we feeling? Good. That's the sort of audience we like.
Good spirit, right?
Good spirit. I'm Mark Barton.
I'm Edie Lush. Great to be here with you. Second year in the UAE.
First year in Dubai since 2015.
For you.
For me, 7 years. It's changed a little bit, but it's looking fantastic. Lovely to be here. Lovely to be at the India Global Forum, where India meets the world and the world meets India. First big global event for India since taking over the G20 presidency. By the way, we want you to get on social media, hashtag IGFUAE, and do join the conversation at IGF Updates. Somebody has already been here more than 24 hours. How was yesterday in Abu Dhabi?
It was fantastic. That's right. We were in Abu Dhabi yesterday looking a lot at climate, technology, and here we are in Dubai, the world's gateway. Fantastic to be with you. I was never here with you at Bloomberg when we were at Bloomberg TV.
But you were here a long time
ago. I think it might have been about 20 years ago.
Right.
Can't stand it. We, by the way, are the charm offensive. He's charming. That makes me offensive.
Not true. So not true. I have to disagree with that.
But it's fantastic to be with you here with our live audience here in Dubai. And of course, streaming live around the world due to our media partners. A massive thank you to them as well. NDTV, BQ Prime, Daily Hunt, and Gulf News. So Mark, I'll let you get on with it.
We get the show on the road? You're supposed to say yes. Let's get the show on the road. Let's start this up. Tech Winter 2022, end of the good times. We'll see ED in just a few seconds' time. Right, let's bring up Sanjay Nayar, who is founder and chairman of Sorin's. Big round of applause for Sanjay. Founder and chairman of Sorin. Former chief executive, KKR India. Sanjay told me that he has 40 years experience in the financial services industry. I've got about 26. 40 means he's just that sort of level above me, but he's going to share the experience with us for about 5 or 7 minutes, and we're going to introduce the panel. Sanjay, great to see you. It's called Tech Winter 2020. I mean, it's cold in London, where I flew from yesterday. Are you feeling the chill? Are we in a tech winter?
Well, I think we are. Literally speaking, we are. But as they say, there's always a spring after the winter. So I think we're on the corner. I think there's a winter, no doubt. But I think look at what's going on. I mean, the pandemic is behind us, and there are lots and lots of positives. The world is open, travel is up, hospitality is booming, people are traveling, and I think to that extent, it's a pretty positive time. But at the same time, there's quite a bit of uncertainty. I don't think I've seen a world that's that uncertain, with inflation, with recession, with the war. So it's a pretty interesting time, and a lot of businesses are getting disrupted.
Yeah.
In a way, it's a winter waiting for the spring. It's going to be a pretty interesting spring.
When do we get a feel that the spring will be here? What are the signs, Sanjay, we need that are going to give us a sense, oh, spring's around the corner?
Well, I think the traditional answer would be, look at the capital markets. I don't think that's what my answer is going to be. I think we got to look at some very interesting entrepreneurs who are solving real world problems, and they get funded very responsibly and very sensibly. And you see some great business models emerge, and some of the existing ones get refunded and funded all the way to the home run. I think that's when you say that the spring is around the corner. And I can tell you the innovation, just talking to a few of the folks sitting here who are going to join us, the most creative business models solving real problems for the mankind. And in these times, I think you're going to find some very interesting business models. So let's see, responsible funders, responsible founders, good successes in a very quick succession. I think that's when you declare that the markets are back.
What are responsible founders and what are responsible funders? Let's start with the founders, and we'll talk about the funders.
I think we start with the funders first.
Start with the funders.
They were the ones who were slightly responsible. No, I think, look, from a funder's point of view, I think the experience the investors have globally is immense. So I would say the most important thing is to learn from the mistakes and to have an atmosphere with the founders of shared learnings, lots of communication, and lots of collaboration going forward. I think if they play that role, I think you're talking of a really responsible behavior by the funders vis-a-vis the founders. I think as the founders are concerned, I would say not to get carried away with the swagger of money that's egging you along all the time to just grow. I would say sustainability of the business model, cutting out hobbies, having a path to profitability, but yet keeping an eye on innovation. I think that's key. I don't think they should become traditional models. The real business models that are innovative in these days, but not to get egged along by investors, to have a sustainable business model. I think that's the responsibility the founders need to play. But look, together, I think if you have a climate of shared learnings and responsibility and responsible behavior, which is not that difficult, by the way, I think this is a recipe for the spring.
Yeah. And India, how are things? How's the macro backdrop? How's the entrepreneurial backdrop right now?
I think India is going to be the hub of innovation. Frankly, just look at what's happening. This government has done in the past 7-8 years in terms of the impetus towards digitization, democratizing consumption. I mean, some of the things that we have in India are probably par excellent and probably the flag bearers of the world. I would say the 1.4 billion, 1.3 billion population, even if 20% is consuming the way you think they should be consuming, the new trends, I think it is the place as a hub of innovation. Lots of capital available. I think this theme that there is no dry powder is totally wrong. There's a lot of dry powder. You have new pools of capital emerging in India, the local institutions, local family offices, besides global investors. There's no dearth of capital, right? I think it's just about finding the right opportunities and backing them. And I think it's at this point in time when the winners will emerge. I think that is the key. And there is no better ecosystem, I think, than India, which is positioned to encourage smart founders, capture a massive market. Only two things. I think the founders in India have to look at business models that are real and really solve Indian problems in the Indian market, Indian size, Indian pricing, okay? India's a bit different. And I think that's key. And second thing is that a lot of global models will come out of India. And I think we're going to see more of those. And again, we have a few of the colleagues here who will talk of that. But I think India can be a hub of innovation, not only for the Indian market, but also for the global.
Yeah, we're going to be discussing lots of that throughout the day here today. Tell us about Sorin. You're an early stage tech fund. What problems are those companies you're investing in solving? What are the types of company that you're looking at right now?
We just started, guys, there's no plug for Sorin here. We just started. It's an early stage tech fund, Series A to C. I've just done one investment. I think right now my bigger problem is I'm competing with other VC funds to put money to work, so. But trying to be responsible.
Yeah, trying to be responsible. Let's get our other panelists up. Great first section of this conversation with Sanjay. Abhimanyu Munjal, CEO of HeroFinCorp. Please come up. Saurabh Garg from NoBroker, the co-founder and CBO. And Gaurav Biswas, founder and CEO of TruKKer as well. To elaborate on everything that Sanjay says. Maybe they disagree, maybe. Let's get an argument going. Let's get a bit of a real feisty conversation going. Abhimanyu, great to see you. When I met you outside, you said tech winter. What is a tech winter? So tell us, what is a tech winter? Are we in one? Are you feeling the chill?
I think a tech winter is a massive road bump, right? It's just a massive road bump, and there is spring, like Sanjay says, after the road bump. Businesses are built over decades. You can't really say it's the end of all tech companies in 2 years. 2 years is a very, very short span. So this is just a road bump, and I'm sure the entrepreneurial spirit in most of the founders and of the tech founders will take us through this. But that animal spirit has to be there to say, I'm going to build a sustainable business. I'm going to build a business which has got right unit economics, right? If there is the right unit economics, there's lots and lots of pools of capital. Like Sanjay said, you'll be surprised that within India, the domestic pools of capital that are now investing, which were never available earlier. Family offices. In fact, some of the tech founders' offices, which are sitting there, which is smart money, is there to be actually captured. And so I think it's just a massive road bump. We shouldn't get disheartened. It's a part of building a business. It's a life cycle of a business. It's like a child falling down. We'll get up, learn, and I think be stronger in the future.
Yeah. Saurabh, are you sensing that as well? This is a roadblock, but those with you've got animal spirits, I can feel it. Those with animal spirits are going to thrive in this sort of environment.
Actually, I have a slightly contrary view. I think this is a great opportunity. This is what I would say is like a detox. So when I was a kid, and if I used to overeat and I used to have a upset stomach, my mother used to make me fast for a day. Have only fruits or have only simple food. I think this is that. We had a lot of excesses which we have seen in the last couple of years, and this right now is a great opportunity to correct that. And if you just look at what happened during the last year, because there was so much capital available, the capital was free, the talent becomes so expensive. If you have to advertise, it was extremely expensive. The impression cost went up. Even when you're speaking to the customer, if you're, for example, watching a match and there are 3 companies saying that, why don't you buy cryptocurrency? 4 companies saying, why don't you buy stocks? 2 companies saying, we are running a sale, don't invest, splurge. So I think it was so difficult to get customers' attention. So I really think this is a great opportunity for us, for the entire ecosystem, to build responsible, sustainable, profitable companies. Because it's weird that companies which are 12-year-old, 15-year-old, are not profitable, don't have a path to profitability. It's something which is clearly very, very weird. So I really think that this tech winter is that detox. It will help us purge or cleanse what was excess and bring out better and stronger companies.
We need to purge, Gaurav. We need to detox to relaunch ourselves. Is that how you look at it?
I think some great points came on so far. I think I want to start with one point that Sanjay made, that you have to continue to be innovative. You don't want to become traditional, but there needs to be some unit economics was brought up. So I think there was that toxicity that was coming both from young founders, first-time entrepreneurs, or maybe they had a stint with a tech company and they got into developing a product, but then they were educated by the ecosystem that, hey, it's okay to not know when you will be profitable. It's okay as long as you're acquiring customers, but then at what price? I think so if there is a traditional element, I think there needs to be a lot of education in the entrepreneurial ecosystem. I think VCs should also invest into seeing that some of the younger founders, or somebody's an engineer, but probably doesn't know what is EBITDA and how is that different and what is depreciation. So some of these things, I think if there was traditional management, that at the end of the day, your fundamental objective is to create shareholder value. And even if you're burning at a certain price to acquire growth, is that really adding to some data and future scale up unit economics that's making money? A lot of founders did not do these kind of analysis that, okay, I'm going to lose money, but then if I stop losing money with this segment of client which has been with me for so long, does he still stay with me? Does he still give me the margin? If the answer is yes, then okay, then what is making sense is working. And this is different for every different business, but I think unit economics and fundamental of creating shareholder value, I think that's the detoxed technology startup kind of thing.
Sanjay, what's your advice? You're a startup, you're sitting in the audience, you're looking to you 4 gentlemen for advice. You want to set up in these turbulent times, as you say, opportunities during difficult times. That seems to be the buzzword that you 4 are saying. But what's your advice? You're a startup. We're in a recession. We're in a tech winter. We're approaching recessions right across the world. What would you say startups need to do to thrive in this environment?
I think there's got to be firstly a little bit of sense of humility. What at least I'm finding in my early experience in this world is that when we speak to founders, they seem to feel, because of the earlier rounds, that they know it all. And I think that's number one. They don't know it all, and there's no harm in sitting with experienced investors who are global in nature. Some are very big local investors, like Abhimanyu said. Sit and discuss the business plan and the reality, okay? What can go wrong rather than only what can go right. Secondly, I think, talking of India specifically, people misunderstand the big target market in India that is immense. okay, to really what is the real target market at the price point at which you think you can make money. And frankly, that is much smaller, although it's still larger than an average country in Europe, but it's still smaller than $1.3 billion or $1.4 billion. So I think that I find is a very common footfall that these people make. Third, I think, is that they seem to be in a kind of a attitude that, look, I've got lots of guys chasing me, and it doesn't really matter, is it VC1, VC2, VC3. I think the quality of your partner choice that you have to make as a founder now becomes equally critical. And I'm sure there are 6 VCs ready to fund, but who do you really jive with? Where are the culture and values going to really resonate? And who can I look to as a startup founder to go and have a chat where I'm going wrong or going right and I need more support or more help? I think asking for help, not knowing everything, and getting the target market cynically right, I think are the 3 things I would advise them.
Yeah. Humility, quality of partner choice. Abhimanyu, what would you add to that? What advice would you give startups looking to raise funds in this very tricky environment?
So I would say, don't go out if you don't need the funds right now, right? But try and bootstrap, cut your expenses. And one of the things Sanjay said earlier is very important. Quit your hobbies, right? Be focused on your core business and don't get distracted. And your business model, this reminds me of something what one of my mentors has always told me and ingrained in my mind. Top line is vanity, bottom line is sanity, cash at bank is reality. So really focus on cash at bank.
Say that again. I love that. Say that again.
Top line is vanity, bottom line is sanity, cash at bank is reality. Right?
Big round of applause.
So,
As they say, it doesn't count till it jingles.
Cut that, shove that out on social media, boom.
yes. So I think it is very critical that you focus on the cash at bank. It's very easy to get distracted, to get seduced, to say, hey, let's do this, let's do that. But just keep your hobbies out of the way today. Focus on what the vision is, what your target market is, what your unit economics is. And I think you are home. I'm very confident of all founders. Me being an entrepreneur myself, I started my business 10 years back. These are road bumps. We are adaptive. We have to really learn and get up and use that experience to put in play for the next spring to come. So I'm pretty confident that the founders will learn. It's a good thing to go through pressure points, and this is one of those. And a lot of good models will emerge from this.
Yeah. Before I go to Saurabh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, in a couple of minutes, I'm going to say to you, time for you to ask questions. We want to get you involved. We want you to be engaged throughout today, throughout tomorrow. So I'll ask whoever wants to ask a question, tell us who you are, where you're from, microphone will come to you, and be brave. We want to get you involved today, so please do ask us questions. Saurabh, your company, first prop tech unicorn in November 2021. You've got some great advice to share and partake for those of us who are thinking of launching in this difficult environment. What are the 3 bits of key advice you give to those who are looking for funding right now?
Sure. So I think that, look, for good companies who are solving a real problem and trying to make profits at some point of time, because that's what the company exists for, I think the capital is available. There are a lot of large funds in India who have raised money, whether it's Sequoia, Elevation, Axel, everybody has money. There are new funds coming in. Sanjay, there's a fund, Morphosis in Dubai, which is there. So I think capital is clearly available. Anyone I speak to across the world, they believe that India is the place to invest. Clearly that thing is there. But I think what is important is it's going to be challenging, and actually it should not be easy. It should never be easy. The challenge which you go through, that molds the company's DNA. So I mean, I'll also give you my example. When we started NoBroker, we had a really tough time. For almost a year, we were not able to raise money because everybody said a real estate transaction without a broker, never heard of. It can never happen. A lot of people said that a model like this doesn't exist in US, doesn't exist in China. Why should this work in India? But look, the important thing is that it's a very India-specific problem. It's a made-for-India solution. And the markets are very, very different. So clearly, there was a big gap, and I think we went through a lot of tough time to finally raise money, but we just needed one person. Secondly, I think this being highly optimistic to the point of irrationality, I think that is very important for an entrepreneur. Because look, if all the data is available, if all the data shows that something like this should have been solved, it would have already been solved. A lot of this has to come because you have that belief, you have that optimism, you have that perseverance. So I think that becomes extremely important. And thirdly, I think once you've raised money, you have to create viable solutions. I've seen multiple times that companies start something, they're trying to find a solution, put a couple of people doing it manually. The answer should be that once you find some kind of solution, you make a product or tech solution to that. But I've seen that 2 or 3 people become 20 people, revenue keeps coming, they make it 200, the next answer is actually 2,000 people. They'll never be able to do it with the help of technology. And that kind of a solution is very, very difficult to make profitable. And the entire reason you're a tech company is because you're saying, I'll make a product solution, not throw people on the problem. So I would say these are the things which people should be very clear about. And I think one thing which I found many founders not looking at, that apart from building products, one of a very important part of founders' responsibility is capital allocation. And I think that is highly missing. So where should you be allocating your resources and capital? That they should be very clear of. Of course, there'll be experiments that they'll do which will fail, which will not give results. That's okay. But you can't keep throwing capital behind something which is not going to give returns.
Brilliant. I love that. Be optimistic to the point of irrationality. We're going to put that on a T-shirt. We're going to sell them for $20 each. I get half the profits. You get half. There you go. Gaurav, 3 nuggets.
I think most importantly, I think cash is king right now from a tech winter perspective. I think that's most important, that any startup, whether you're at early stage, good stage, late stage, you all have different kind of burn rates or capital requirements. Just be prepared for not being able to raise money. And I think that's a test of all of those things, unit economics and all of those things. So if you can remain small and surviving, if the idea deserves to really put your energy behind. Second, I think traditionally, but do not lose the innovation part of it. You need to have scalability. You need to be able to do cheaper than what the current process is. At the same time, do not over-engineer, because you don't have the money right now to over-engineer. Solve the money. Create as much tech that you can afford as a startup. Again, based on different stage. And the last, I think, important thing is, prepare constantly to hustle. I think as startups, this is tech winter, you're not raising money, but that doesn't stop you from meeting your clients. That doesn't stop you from meeting your suppliers. That doesn't stop you in drafting multiple partnership agreements, which can all get funded, maybe in 2 years' time. So don't waste this time and be in depression of, I can't raise money, so I can't grow. Continue the hustle. I think the hustle is what, separates a lot of the execution from lack of execution.
Yeah. Very true. Right, I promised. Hands up. Come on, who's brave? Otherwise, I'm going to... Yes, gentleman at the front. He was first. And then lady behind. Lady there, gentleman. Too many questions. There can never be too many questions. Gentleman at the front first, then the lady behind in the blue, and then we'll try and do the others as well. So please be...
Yeah.
Go for it.
My name is Kamal Puri. I run a group called Skyline International Group. Thanks for the lovely knowledge about startups. See, there are a few factors which I have observed through my experience of 20 years of private equity, etc. Especially in technology, people are very good in their technical mindset. But when it comes to marketing, operation, other aspect of the business, they lack that. If I look to the model of SoftBank, always 2 things I tell all youngsters. First, when you are raising a capital, see to it the capital from where you are raising, what type of business they are. Are they operating only in India or all around the world? If your product can fit into that, make it sure that you spread very fast. As the gentleman said, the market is getting crowded in every field. Today, whether we talk fintech, we talk medtech, we talk agri-tech, because every third person is doing. But the future is in 3 areas only. One is AI, deep learning, quantum computing. Future lies in only these 3 technologies which will change the world.
And let's have the question.
My question is, do you agree that when any startup is starting, that he should also take expertise of a different professional like finance, marketing, and others, etc.?
I think let me take that question as a startup. You're absolutely right. This is what I also was saying, that sometimes because technology does not require tons of years of experience to create a product, a very young guy, a young coder can create a product which can solve problem for masses. But then he is not the right guy to really structure his company and put financial prudence and checks, or. So absolutely, I think, and that's where funding enables that. I think that's the whole idea. A seed round should enable you to get access to certain kind of, people, advisors, and all of that, and then you graduate to a Series A and a B and C, and you add different caliber of people who then scale the business. But absolutely, I think that's where VCs also play a strong role. So I think be selective about the VCs. A lot of times there are funds who will give you the money, but they don't give you the time or advice. So, value things much more than money that comes with certain VCs.
I want to get to another question. Lady in the blue. Yeah. We'll just do one to one really quickly. We've got about 2.5 minutes. Sure. And keep the questions shortish so we can get as many as we can. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Shraddha. I'm a market entry specialist. I help companies navigate new markets. So just quickly, this build in India model, the pricing, the way it works in India, do you think it's becoming a hindrance for Indian companies to go global? What would you tell Indian companies who have plans of sort of global transitions? What do they need to know to move from India to the global market? What are the segments that these global leaders from India are going to come from? And what are the companies right now that you can name you think can become global leaders, like the likes of Facebook, Google, obviously the politically sort of controversial, but Alibaba, Tencent, like that?
I think we should have people who have built business models in India and taking it overseas, yeah.
Right. So I really think that there'll be multiple areas in which these companies can expand. Look, Indian market, of course, it's a very different market, but there are a lot of other markets which are very similar. There is Latin America, Middle East probably has some similarity. Southeast Asia is a similar kind of a market. So I think a lot of these companies which are building for India over a period of time will also go to these markets which have kind of similar idiosyncrasies. And that's what we at NoBroker also believe, that some of the things which we're doing at NoBroker, we should be able to take it to these kind of markets and build a global company.
I think one area where Indians can do really well, having cracked the Indian market, is someone like Abhimanyu's business on consumer finance for financial inclusion. India is a market where financial inclusion is an absolute must, just for the progress of the country. Maybe,
Yeah, so I think if you see the Western world's technology when it comes to fintech, banks, they're very, very archaic. But you see the stuff that Indian banks, Indian financial services companies are doing is best in class. Yeah. Hence you see a company like Policy Bazaar here. Hence you see Nayar. You see a lot of these Indian companies built in India coming out. So earlier today we were at a breakfast roundtable and the discussion was, it's not about a cost arbitrage. India is not about a cost arbitrage anymore, but it's about better quality skills, better quality product which is being made. So the narrative is changing. Right? India will build better quality businesses and better quality skills will be available rather than a cost arbitrage. So I think we have to move away to say to do business in India is cheap. But we say to do business in India and products which come out of India and services are better and are best in the world. I think that's the narrative, and fintech would be one of the leading technologies. And we are already seeing it.
I think we've got time for one more question.
Sanjay, TruKKer. So we have seen the tech summer and winter play out multiple times over the last 25 years. So this time around, would we envisage a paradigm shift in how VCs look at startup valuations?
Well, I hope so. guys.
Yeah, I think it
please.
is already happening. The way that the VCs are now evaluating the companies, they are talking about what is the business model, when will you start making money, when the cash flow starts coming. So I think that change is already visible.
And I think as founders, this is the time that you should not be too worried about valuations and terms. If you're getting the money, take it, because you're going to build exponential value. A little bit of dilution today is not going to be effective, it's not going to hurt you, but the amount of time, like he said, it took 1 year to raise money. My last round took me 6 months. Today, I'm sure we go in the market, it might take 6 to 12 to 18 months. The amount of time that you'll waste in doing that, rather than spending time on building something and creating value. So I would say just leave value on the table for VCs and any other pools of capital available.
Although having said that, I think we are seeing a few funds still do more and more internal rounds, trying to make sure the companies have a longer runway, and maybe the valuations are still a bit sticky and not correcting. But look, who are we to opine whether they're right or wrong valuations? I think the next panel should be the right one to ask this question to. So Shalendra is waiting to answer that question. So
let's introduce the next panel. I want a big, sorry, Jen, we will have more questions throughout the day. Please keep being eager and keen. We love when you engage. Big round of applause for the first panel of the day. Sanjay, Abhimanyu, Saurabh, and Gaurav. Absolutely fantastic. Gentlemen, you can go off stage. Next up, Edie's back, navigating turbulent times. You may come to the stage, Edie.